I don't know if it's music or if it's my ears, but like I got this weird ringing as we did that.
It's because you're getting old, Tim. Yep.
I guess I'm old, huh? Do you realize that this is episode 40 for us?
And I know that we've been off for what, 3 weeks, almost a month.
No, we've been off for almost 2 months.
Has it been 2 months? Wow. Well, a lot has been going on. Tell us. What's been going on?
I'm trying to go back and see. Wait a second. I'm going to go back and see what.
It's been a while.
And I realized all of our episodes were misnumbered, by the way. The last 6 episodes were misnumbered. I just got to go in and re-edit those on YouTube.
Oopsie.
So, anyway.
Oopsie.
Yeah. So life's been happening. Yeah. I moved, as you can tell by the background. It's a little different. It's the same, but it's a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit. How do you like the new house?
I like it. The problem I'm having with it is because there's so much stuff that needs to be done that, like, when I try to take a break in the afternoon, like before I would take a break in the afternoon and feel fine, just go sit in my chair, relax for 10 minutes or go take a nap. Now I'm like, I should be doing something. I have that weird feeling and I don't like it. I've got to learn to build that, calm myself.
Yeah.
That is my biggest issue with the house. Because there's a million projects here that are going to be unfinished for a while. All right. We set the house up so that we could live in it. So when I took over this house, actually it was a month and 4 days ago that we got into the house. Right.
Wow.
And this room was like a color of, it was like salmon. You picture a cross between salmon and rose.
Ew.
It was gross. I couldn't stand the colors. All right. And, there was dirt on the walls. There was dirt on the floors. I got hardwood floors. All right. And I was going to change the floor out in here and put carpet in, but I just didn't. And I may not now. I like
hardwood floors. Those are awesome. We had them in the old place.
Yeah, I do too, but I hate these are very poorly installed. These were installed by some installer hack.
Oh.
And what I mean by installer hack is these people, when they installed them, they didn't pull up your baseboards. They just installed them and put cord around.
Oh.
So what that means is it's not a good clean cut. So when you pull that cord around up, which in this case here, the cord around, I pulled the cord around up in one of the rooms the other day, or when we were doing the painting, and I swept out. All right, the dust and stuff was a mound like this big from under the cord around, and then and then I vacuumed it, and then I swept it again and got another pile like this big, like. That's what I don't like about that cord around is when they put it in and they put the flooring like this, they leave a gap there for dirt and grime and stuff to get to, and it stays there. And the only way to get it out is pull the cord around out and clean the area out.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
All right, and then you don't get it. It made a really chalky, dusty air feel in the whole house.
Yeah.
All right. And
how old is your house? What's the year?
98. It was built in 98.
Oh, well, that's not as old as I thought.
It's not that old. So actually, this house was being built when I moved to Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, there's certain things that, like, you know what I mean, I had to fix. The first thing I did was in the living room, there was this built into the front end of the wall that actually had like a tube TV. Well, basically back in the late 90s, you had tube TVs that you would put on this table that you pulled out and spun around, right?
I remember.
And then it had shelves on the side. This thing weighed a ton. And I was going to just take a hammer and beat it apart. But the kid moving me said, dude, I would unscrew it from the wall and see if somebody wants it. So I unscrewed it from the wall, and the lady when she moved out, she left a trash pile on the front lawn for the the trash company to come get. I took that piece out and threw it with the trash pile and tried to say, well, yeah, that's just her mess that she left. But like it took almost 3 weeks for him to come get that trash pile. And basically I found out that she like emptied her refrigerator into a trash bag and threw it on the front lawn.
Oh my gosh.
And it started to smell. So I basically put little by little, I started putting stuff in the trash can, put it on service. But that big thing I took out. And because I did, in my living room, there is an outline of where the wood floors, they built it right up to the edge of that thing.
Oh no. So then there's no wood floor underneath.
Yeah. So, and they did the wood floors when they installed it, I'm guessing. This is not an aftermath. It was when they installed the house, when they built the house, because underneath there is concrete. So, and there's several areas, like we pulled up places where there were concrete, and you can see. So then I called in a flooring expert and said, well, can I sand these floors? And the guys go, well, yeah, these are sandable floors, but yours has been sanded one too many times. So like he says, there's spots that if I sanded it, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, because where the clip is.
Yeah. It's
this
going to come
here is so thin that when I sand it, it'll flip. It'll piece up. So he said, you can't sand it. So and they're glued down, like heavily glued down. Like it's going to take, yeah. So basically we said, well, we're going to just pull the cord around up, live with the ugly look around the edges, and we're going to clean the floor. So I got finished cleaning the living room this past weekend, the living room floor finally, because the floor had patches like of dirt. You could see brown dirt patches.
Yeah.
And I basically had to spray with bleach and hand scrub and then mop to get it off. So
well, sounds like you've been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did paint. The first thing I did was paint the whole house.
White?
No, I painted it. It's Repose Gray.
Okay.
I did the whole house in Repose Gray. I use Sherwin-Williams. I have a Sherwin-Williams account, Repose Gray, and then the office is done in Mindful Gray, which is the same color combo I had at the condo. So the only thing I changed in this one is I painted the door frames and my trim and a little brighter white than I had in the other one.
Just think, your house is probably making a sigh of relief and saying, owners that are cleaning me and redoing me, and I'm getting a facelift. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It is, yeah, because it looks so much nicer. All right. In some of the rooms, you know what I mean? I went through, like the living room, I didn't, because there was a lot to get done. I just painted over everything. And then when I'm going back to patch things, right? The kitchen, same way. The only thing I patched in the kitchen was there was a washer dryer room that had two big full-size doors. I ripped them freaking doors off and ripped the frame off right away. All right. And then I fixed the drywall around it, but the trim doesn't match. And I'm going to build a frame countertop on top of the washer and dryer and make it a part of the kitchen space. Right. So that was one area I fixed, but like every room, like this room here, I went through and patched every hole, every crack, every, you know what I mean? All that stuff. And I started doing that in certain rooms, and then I retextured a lot of the stuff. There's only one spot I didn't retexture, was in our bedroom. There's a spot where like they hand fixed crap.
Oh yeah.
And I just painted over it, but I was like, well, I won't see it, but because it's painted, but I still, every morning I get up, the sun shines right on it.
And you're
so
just like,
I will sand it and retexture it and paint just that, read that spot.
Yeah.
But the living room behind where that thing was, there was about a dozen holes in the wall where basically when they were installing the home theater stuff, they just were like, okay, let's make it go through here, right? Well, I basically took that wall because I put a big 65-inch mounted on the wall, right?
Nice.
I took the wall apart and built back cross frames to mount the TV to, right? Yeah, the only thing I didn't do was take pictures as I was doing. I took pictures of some of the process, but I should have put, and this is where I actually went into my mastermind, and I said, I can't believe it. Me, Mr. Content Creator, didn't think set up a camera and just let it take, what do they call that? What do they call it? It takes photo like every
every few seconds.
every
It's
few seconds or every minute. I should have just done that, and I
still
could have made
frame.
it. Yeah, it's all still frames, but it's built, but it looks like a moving picture, but
Yeah.
they're not done as much. And I should have done that. I have the stuff here to do it. I have to set it up. I just didn't do it.
But a lot of times when you're working on a house and you're trying to get things done, you
Yeah.
just want to get it done. You're
I
not
just want to
thinking
get it
about,
done. Yeah.
oh, I should go through this process. In fact, with our house, I mean, when we moved into our first house, I took a couple pictures here and there, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then a couple pictures later after things were done. But this house, I wanted to tell a story and how we're going through this whole process. And so I've been filming, but I've been filming in the same area, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a succession. So you'll see how it started, how it is there, now it is there. So you can see the change and how it became. So I've been going trying to do the same route each time I do the filming of it, so we can see the progression.
Yeah.
And we're talking about content. The funniest thing is those videos are getting more impressions than anything else. I'm getting like 283 impressions. I'm getting like up to 80 or 90 comments. I mean, it's crazy. And all it is just going through the succession of the house.
I know. When I did my condo, same thing years ago, is that I got more interaction with that than a show like this. And it's just, I'm learning that's what people want.
Yeah. So, I mean, and going through that whole process, I mean, you have moved. We're still in the process of getting the house. We're almost there. We're supposed to be moving in probably towards the end of October. We're supposed to be moving in. So we're getting really, really close to, but I think the frustrating thing, I know when you're dealing with a house that's already there, you got to deal with the things that you're dealing with, where there's this that you have to fix, or they did this the wrong way, or they put a hole in this wall, or whatever that you've got to fix. But at least I don't know what's worse, watching the house being built and then saying, what about this? What about that? Is that going to get done? Is that going to get done? When is this going to get done? Or, well, we got to fix that now. Oh, we got to fix that now. Because that's what we had in our old house.
Well, that's what I like doing. That's how I like doing houses, is what I do in real estate is I buy properties that need work and I fix them up, all right, to modern standards and make them look really nice. But I liked buying houses because basically I walk in. I'm not creative to come up with the blueprint. I'm creative to enhance the blueprint. That's just my creativeness.
Same here.
And like I come in here, I looked at all the stuff I was going to do. All right. And there was just stuff I wanted to tear down. And that's I still have one thing left to tear down. And that is a shed that is out back that literally when I actually took possession, the front doors were falling off of it. By the time, but when I looked at it, all right, I looked at it and went, that thing's not going to last long. And then now that I look at it, I realized the frame of it is actually in good shape. It was the wood on the outside that was going. And I basically could rip the wood off the outside, say, with the exception of the roof, put up metal siding or something around it and still use that building because it is a strong frame.
Cool. Well, let me ask you this. In your old condo, how long did it take you guys to fix that up?
We fixed that up before we moved in. We fixed that. We spent 4 months fixing that up before we even moved into it.
Fixing it up.
Yeah.
So now you're living in this house, and now you're fixing it up. I mean, you guys went in and you did a little bit of fix up before you moved in, didn't you? Or no?
On this one here, not really.
Oh, okay.
This one here, we took possession and started doing and started doing work onto it because we had with the day I got the keys, it was 48 hours later the movers were dropping stuff off.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I scheduled it, so I wouldn't have to pay another month's rent on the storage bin.
Yeah,
but the reality was I really should have just paid another $300 some odd to store the stuff for another month, stayed at my son's, and I should have spent a month with the house empty redoing it.
And done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
probably would have been better off. So.
Yeah. Well, now you get to, but you're living in it now. You get to see what you want to change, but the hardest part is you're living in it while you're doing that. That's the hardest
Well, no, I did. I did. Hold on. I actually tinkered with my cameras as I set them up here, and I got a camera system to go. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? I actually did that as I had a piece of software that. In this case here, we did the paint so that we would be able to, at least feel refreshed. It was after that we started setting stuff up to live into it, right?
Yeah.
And our determination was we were going to do it this way and then start the projects we wanted. Like I painted the bathrooms, right? But like the first thing that's going to be gutted and redone is bathrooms one at a time. All right. I have 2 bathrooms and they're both in horrible shape. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to refresh enough that I can use it because the shower is going to be clean. It's usable, right? But I'm going to gut it and redo it like the shower I had back at the condo. I'm going to gut it and redo the floors. I'm going to gut it. And you know what I mean? It's like, that's the stuff I'm going to do in projects. The living room, it has the wiring into it to run back speakers. I left the wire stick out of the wall, but I ripped down the cheap ass speakers that were mounted to the wall. But I also, when I had that wall apart, ran the wires down. One of the projects I'm going to do is run the wires for the internet. The internet is on the far wall by the fireplace. I'm going to run the cable in through the attic to that center. I'm going to put everything in that center area.
So you get better internet.
Well, no, it's not so I get better. I'm going to move things to central location. Outside, there is a dozen freaking wires and cables sticking in all kinds of places that I'm like, what the hell are you thinking, dude? Like, I'm going to clean all that up, but I'm going to run good wiring in. The back house, all right, that's like the main area of that back house is like a game room that my mom's making as a living space. All right. She's staying in the bedroom here, but she's eventually going to fix the bedroom up back there and have a bedroom back there and everything. But the back area that has a garage door and a shop area. Well, that's where my toolbox is because it's the only place that has cement floor. Outside, I have 2 carports. One carport was kind of enclosed. Like the one side has a wall onto it. The other side had chicken wire and one roof piece across it. Well, I just
want to interject here for those that are just watching this for the first time. We're going through the projects 10.
If you just tuned in,
moved in, and normally we go through topics of the day and so on and so forth, and we're changing things up as we always do on podcasts. So today we thought we'd go through personal stuff because we're both going through in regards to moving and that type of thing. And so we're going
I just thought I'd put this comment up there.
I was looking at that too. How young do you have to be to talk about the G-spot? I mean, us old folks are the ones that came up with the damn comments, the G-spot in the first place. So you youngins wouldn't know anything about it if it wasn't for us. Just saying.
We got kids, all right? Trust me, we've found it before.
Yeah, we know the G-spot. When you got kids, you know you found the G-spot.
How do you think you got here? Your parents investigated to find that sucker.
And then, oops, one got through. Damn. All those millions, one got through. Damn it.
So one of the people that I met, all right, at Craig Duswalt's boot camp that he did here in July, was a lady who has a sex podcast.
Who is this? I might know her.
You weren't there. I know who she is, but her podcast is not her. It's a character. It's not. They're not going to do video because it's audio because they have their characters, right? And I went and listened to it, and then I went. We had a consultation. She booked a consultation with me, and I was like, oh my god, that's just hilarious. It's like I'll come on that podcast anytime,
Yeah.
But it's for women. Anyway, that's what we should. But you don't do a sex podcast. You don't do a video of a sex podcast.
No, you have to be careful. sometimes you get you can get banned for
No.
certain things. I mean, it is what it is, but
Anyway,
just saying. But we're trying to change things up anytime.
well, here's what I think about when it comes to these shows. All right, listen. If you're listening to this show, do you really care what we're talking about?
Probably not. Probably going, I'm listening to you while I'm in the shower. I'm listening to you while I'm working on something else. I'm sorry. Did you say something?
Yeah.
I didn't hear. And that's what most people do. They listen to the podcast while they're doing something else.
Maybe that's what we should do for a podcast. Are you really listening?
Are you really listening? Yes. And just do some like banging and just pushing things out there to see if did I just hear that? Did I just hear that? Oh my God, did I just hear that?
Oh, no. Wait a minute. We can do a podcast, all right, with sounds and have people try to guess what the sound is.
Yeah, I like it. Or you could combine like 3 or 4 sounds like they did in, what was it, Lost World? To do the dinosaurs. They combined a train whistle along with, the list was ungodly for just getting that roar. They combined a bunch of different sounds.
Well, I just noticed this morning because I've been very rarely on StreamYard over the past month. So, but I noticed they have background music in. So we played background music, what we played this morning. But here's some of the sounds they have in there. And it's supposed to be feeding ducks.
That's feeding ducks?
I know.
Nah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think those are really sounds. I think it's just music.
It's background music. Is what it's supposed to be.
It's background music. Yeah. Nice background music.
So
get up and start dancing, get the disco ball.
Yeah.
Your neighbors will be watching. What the hell is that guy doing? He's dancing in front of his computer.
What a lunatic.
Marge.
What a lunatic. Just saying.
Crazy neighbors. Yeah, crazy neighbors. I'm just saying. So we were talking about earlier, I don't know if you watched any of the Queen's funeral. Did you watch any of it?
I did not watch a lot of it. I would tune into stuff here and there. Most of the stuff I watched were clips, like YouTube clips or like Facebook clips. Like I didn't have the channel. Like my mom had the channel on the whole time. Because I don't have a TV in the office like I used to. The one thing I didn't do here is to put it, but like the TV's out in the other room. So, yeah.
Well, I had it on my laptop while I was working, and I was watching the whole thing. I mean, the whole progression of coming down that long road, and just walking slowly, and that whole crowd of people as they're walking through, and they're paying their respects to the Queen as she's going along, and then there was one spot where they had to go in through the gate to get to the church, and they've got all of these soldiers marching right next to them. And I'm thinking to myself, how are they going to get in there with the hearse and not run over one of these guys' feet? But they managed, and then they would and one guy was even doing a little second step just to catch up. And it was interesting to watch the whole progression and how they marched down and how slowly they did it. And I mean, and at one point when they were getting her coffin out and they were bringing it up the stairs, and I'm thinking they've got the scepter on there, the crown, and thinking to myself, wow, how are they getting that stuff? Well, it was all adhered to something because they had to take it off. But the whole progression of the funeral, it was interesting because when they walk in, there's all this other crowd and they're facing this way, not this way. So they were all facing into the aisle watching her go through, and then they have a separate area where the family is. So these people must have seen it maybe through TV or whatever, but they're not seeing anything over here. It's all, it was interesting. And just watching the whole progression. And then when they started singing Hail the King, because now Charles is taking over. And I know I've been reading things that I know they still have some countries that are still under their realm and so forth. And now they're starting to look at it, seceding from and taking and saying, yeah, we're going to go independent because now that Charles is taking over. And so a lot of people were asking, do you think the monarch is going to continue? Or do you think they're going to have a place?
Let's go back to Tim's opinion on this. I don't care.
Well, I think it's fascinating because the thing is here they are across the world.
Again, it's another one of those.
But there's a lot of people in the United States that still follow all the gossip in regards to the Queen and the King.
They follow. I remember when Diana, when Diana passed, and the that was around the birth of the internet, right?
Yeah.
And it became a very highly talked about thing because of Diana. All right. Of course, Diana was a princess that was really, really loved by the people. And I'm not following the monarchy, right? I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care, but it's not in my realm of things Tim worries about.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm also not that cocky to go, well, I'm an American. We don't worry about that stuff. No. The Queen was a very respected lady, and my condolences to the family. All right, whether he's king or not, it's his mom he's burying.
Yeah,
let's just be real. He's still a human, right? And I have that respect for them. But what's up with the monarchy? Hey, it's not my country.
Yeah, I understand that, but it still affects us.
How?
And they were saying
until Joe Biden, and never gives up on.
Well, just with any regime that's in another country, it's going to affect us depending on what happens in that country. It's a trickle effect. It's a domino effect. It affects everybody based on what's going on. Now, when it comes to the gossip about the family and so on and so forth, that's a whole other story. That's like Hollywood gossip out here, where all you talk about is this person or that person. But I think what was fascinating is that, I don't know if you've ever watched The Crown, and it may be loosely based, but just to know what she was forced into doing because she was the next person in reign because of how her father died, and how she basically took her life and promised it to her country, and was the longest reign in regards to kings and queens. I mean, all these people in the UK grew up with her. They've known, that's all they've known for some 70 years or more. So I just thought, it's almost like the end of an era.
It is.
I thought it was fascinating. I mean, and I'm not
poo-pooing it. I
don't really care.
I'm not caught up with it.
Just the whole thing, just the way they did it, and the way the whole process. I just personally, that stuff fascinates me. Maybe I'm boring. I don't know, but
maybe you are.
But let's face it, audience. Who has more energy? Who's really hyping this up when we come on? I'm just saying. Well, though Tim does have the best lighting. I mean, let's face it. But
I have all kinds of things I can do now. My, I'm tinkering around with a new studio, and
you've got all your lighting in now. And what about the background lighting?
Wait a minute. I think I don't quite have all of those programmed yet.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
I have one or two that's still not programmed, but I have them so they come on and off. I don't have it, but I had my old one. I used to be able to use the sound pieces like Siri and Alexa to turn them on and off. And I don't have that set up.
We have a neighbor in the new neighborhood that we've gone over and visited a couple times, and he's an engineer. So he's got, all he has to do is say, Alexa, turn the lights down. Alexa, do this. Alexa, turn the fountain on. Like, he loves that. And every time we come over, he goes, oh, I've got this wired and that wired and yeah, this wired and Alexa. And he's like, it's hilarious watching him go, Alexa, turn the lights to a glow. It's amazing.
Alexa, shut up.
Thank you. Alexa, tell us a joke.
Alexa, tell us a joke.
How does Spock make his favorite dessert? With a Jello mind mold.
I might move Alexa over to the desk instead of over there.
I think you should. That's fun.
I could have fun. I could have so much fun with it, but I have Stream Deck and I had to totally reprogram Stream Deck and the lights, and I couldn't get the lights to work. I actually had to call Elgato. I had to go through Elgato's help desk to get everything to work again, because I had to replace the computer and everything. They basically they replaced my computer, the one that I just had done a year ago.
So you got a brand new one now?
Brand new computer. Yeah.
I thought you got a brand new one last year.
I did, and that one's the one that died.
What happened?
Well, I bought it. I bought a used computer. I didn't buy a new one. I was supposed to be a refurbished, but I bought a company that they basically, I say, this is the settings I want into it, and they upgrade it and put all the stuff in it I want to it. Basically, they had computers that they had with certain, you could buy it in certain conditions, pay certain price up in certain condition. Well, I bought it, but then I bought this extended warranty thing with it, right? And luckily, when it broke within this extended warranty. But the rules of their extended warranty is if they have to replace it, that ends the warranty, and there's no warranty on the new one. You know what I mean? So I got a total replacement, right? But there's no warranty on the new one. But it's I spent I spent to have this one built last year was like $2,800
for
an iMac, for a 27-inch iMac.
Wow.
And I have a 4 terabyte, like 4 terabyte hard drive. The max amount of RAM I could put into it. But I know that I basically could buy these computers used for between $2,000 and $4,000 and have them built right.
So let me ask you and the audience that are watching us: do you really truly feel that a Apple computer is worth the cost as opposed to PC?
Well, let's put this down to how many times I've bought a computer over the past 10 years.
And how many times have you bought a computer over the past 10 years?
Well, the past 10 years, all right, the one I bought was the one that was replacing the one I had 2 years ago. And I wouldn't have had to replace that one had the cats not knocked it over.
Okay. It still would have been going.
It still would have been.
Well,
I'd still be using that one. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. I have a PC that's a laptop that I've had now for 8 years.
I've not had a PC that lasted me more than 3.
Well, and here, but the thing is you as long as you know how to treat it kindly and do what you need to keep it moving along, it works pretty well. As well as if you get a solid state drive. The other ones, they break really easy. But a solid state drive, ever since I've gotten solid state drives, I've not had to replace my computers. So, but I don't know, just curious, because I know that PCs are like half the price of Apple's.
Yeah, but then again, Apple includes the software to run it.
Well, so does PC. I mean, you have the software to run it on a PC as well. But and of course, Microsoft Office is trying to where you get. I think they've got specials where you get 50% off to get the whole suite, whatever.
Well, I have Microsoft Office just because I have things, so I make sure everything's compatible between the two. So if I do a PowerPoint, because Apple's comes with it, I don't have to buy it extra.
Speaking of PowerPoint, here's a resource, you guys. If you're watching, you gotta write this down. Canva, which we've talked about several times, can set up a presentation. Can set up a presentation, and a lot of times when you set up presentations and you've got movement and animation and so forth, if somebody's got an Apple at your establishment that you're talking, or a PC and it's vice versa, sometimes that stuff doesn't come across. Canva, all you need is the link and it comes across beautifully. So no matter what you put in it, it comes across on a PC, Apple, doesn't matter. All you need is that.
Is it on Canva when you do it, or is it
on Canva? So it's all on Canva. It used to be where you could download it to PowerPoint, but they stopped that. Now it's all on Canva. You have all the animation, and they've got the coolest animation.
But what if you go to a place and they don't have an internet?
You download the link, and then you can go to even if they don't have internet, you can download the link and send it to them, and then they can pull it up. It works. It works either way. It's amazing.
Because I've gone to places where basically they don't have internet access. They don't have the internet to be able to control it. And it's like our show. Our show is not broadcast on your laptop or mine. It's working with the power of the internet. So if my connection to the internet's gone, the show's still going. That's, you know what I mean? And that's what technology is.
I'm pretty sure it still works, because I tried it a couple times. I think you'd have to have it on your own laptop probably. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it works beautifully.
That's one of the things I do with laptops, and I know I got this from Craig, is, I have all my presentations on my laptop. I very rarely put it onto, a thumb drive, but one of the reasons I have both Microsoft and Apple's Keynote, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. I have them both because I put the presentation in both things to make sure everything works, to test it if I'm going out somewhere. So if I'm speaking at your event, I'm testing it on both. All right. And I put my thumb drive in and test it on both of them, because when I go there, I don't know what you have.
Well, and part of that too with Microsoft, they've realized that going back and forth, sometimes things don't come over very well. So now you can save it in Microsoft in regards to PowerPoint presentation you can save it as the extension as an Apple for that Keynote.
Yeah.
You can put it as a Keynote, or you can put it in for a PC. So either way, you can have essentially 2 PowerPoints loaded on your computer, and it works either way. But you can do that with PowerPoint.
That's what I do. I have it with 2 PowerPoints. All right. One of them says Keynote, one of them says PowerPoint. And I go to speak at your event, and I get there and find out that you have PowerPoint and you don't have Keynote. I bring the PowerPoint one in.
I'll check into it regards to Canva, but I did it for a talk out here at a networking event, and oh my God, it was beautiful. It worked beautifully.
I was going to upgrade to get the upgraded. Like, I'm still using the free version of Canva because I just haven't done that much. But
you got to upgrade. It's only $12 a month. It's cheap.
I know, but everything's $12 a month.
Cheap. Well, still, it's $12, and I use it for everything. I use it for posts. I use it for logos. I use it for doing banners and stuff for websites. I use it for pretty much everything.
That's why because I do a lot more creative work now. I mean, like I just yesterday, I actually, when I texted you yesterday, I actually just went in and bought and paid for the SiteGround for the year. That's one thing I've got to go learn to do now.
Yay, SiteGround. That's another really, really good resource, people. SiteGround.
I have to move timgillette.com over, and like you got to help me, because I got to make sure I do this right.
Yeah, we can do that. There's a migration thing. There's like a SiteGround has a migration plugin that you put on to your site, and then it migrates it over. Everything over.
Everything, including my plugins?
Mm-hmm. Everything. Migrates everything. Does it beautifully. And all it is a plugin.
Wait a minute. But like it still stays over there until you have to go over there to delete it, right?
Yes. It does stay over at the other hosting, but what you're essentially doing is you're putting that plug in, you're uploading that plug in, it's taking all those files and it's pulling it over to SiteGround without you having to do a lot of, because if you have to do it manually, you have to go in and you have to get the files and you have to pull those over, and then you have to pull over the database. This way it does it all for you without you even having to lift a finger. You just click a couple buttons, done.
Okay.
But it's still, you're still going to have it on the other site until you take it down from there.
I watched a video on it. The guy made it so freaking complicated. I was like, dude, I don't know if I want to do this now.
No, it's pretty easy. It's really easy.
All right, because I got to move everything over there, including my emails, because and I hope I have in there unlimited email addresses. I'm going to go find out before I.
As far as I know, you do. I don't think I've yet to pay for any email. The only things they have you pay for is they've got security pieces in place, malware scanning and that type of thing.
I think I paid for that. I think I paid that.
Which is another thing is I want to tell people I've had to do 3 websites in the past couple weeks that have gotten malware that I've had to go in and clean them and go in and take out some of the fraudulent coding that they've put in. I mean, it was a mess. 3 different websites.
Yeah. Well, and do they have, like, on HostGator, I actually have, like, timgillette.com is my main site, but I have like 30 some odd other domain names I have loaded in there so I can make it. The businessgspot.com, I actually can make an email address for Tim at the businessgspot.com, and I can just forward it to timgillette.com email address. But that's what I want to do is I want to add all my other subdomains over there and then just have them point. All right. Yeah. I know a lot of people point them on like GoDaddy. They point them to where they want them to go. I don't. I bring them in because then I can use the email addresses. Like in this case here, I have Tim at thebusinessgspot.com, Katrina at thebusinessgspot.com, and they just forward to our regular email addresses.
Yeah. Well, and that's when you're transferring them over. You're transferring them away from GoDaddy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and keep in mind with GoDaddy, if it's a brand new domain that you just bought, you can't do it for at least, they won't, I think there's.
No, I still leave them on GoDaddy. I just point what is the term? I point it.
The DNS and the zones. You point
the DNS. I just point it to HostGator. Yeah. All right. I don't move it to. No. Yeah, I just leave it on GoDaddy, and I do all my renews on GoDaddy. All right. As long
as you have I think you've got to have your A record and your DNS, and you just set those up to what they need to be, and then they'll be pointing over to SiteGround, just like you were saying. And you can keep them there on GoDaddy. But what I'm saying is that GoDaddy didn't used to do this, but because so many people were starting to move things over because there were so many other hosting pieces that were popping up.
Yeah.
If you buy a brand new domain, and I'm just letting people know this, they won't let you transfer it for at least 6 months.
Okay.
That's just something started.
I just don't do it anyway. I have always bought things through GoDaddy because it was just the best deal on buying. I just don't host things on GoDaddy because everything GoDaddy does is piecework. Whereas
it's all the nickel and dime. It used to be you got your hosting, you got, I think, 5 emails, you got your SSL certificate, which is your security certificate. Mm-hmm. And I think there was one other thing you got, and it was all part of the cost. Now the hosting is separate, the emails are separate. Each individual email is like $4 and something a month for each individual email, or if you want to get a team email, it's different pricing. You've got to pay for your SSL certificate. You've got to pay for any of the security update. You got to pay for everything. So by the time you're done, you're looking at $300, $400, maybe even $500, if not more, depending on what you're buying.
Wow.
And that's why I went to SiteGround. Plus these 3 websites, 2 of them were GoDaddy websites, and one was I think it was a HostGator website. Because I've read that HostGator, Bluehost, and GoDaddy's websites are really getting hit hard because so many people put them on GoDaddy and then they leave them alone. They don't do anything. They don't update the plugins. They don't update the version of WordPress. They don't do anything, which gives hackers a chance to get in the door, and then they start putting in coding, and now you can't even get in.
So,
So-
and yeah, what is Robert saying here? Recently,
Talking
GoDaddy.
about he recently talked to
And I
GoDaddy, and
enjoyed the conversation
that's
that
to be expected. You'll be on the phone and with GoDaddy, the hard part too is you'll talk to one person, and one person knows what they're doing, and then you'll try and talk to someone else, and they're like steering you in a totally different direction, and you're like, wait a minute, this guy told me, oh no, you don't know what to do, you want to do this, and then it screws it up, and just depends on who you talk to at what time.
So I had that with an AC company with one of my rentals. I had an AC company that I used for years, and basically they, because they were growing, they were adding staff. They sold from the originally family business to a corporate entity, and I had this guy come over to do work on one of my AC units, and it was like a $450 day for fixing stuff on my AC. And within 2 hours, the place was warm. It wasn't cooling down anymore. I'm like, what the hell, right? I just spent all his money. Yeah. So I called their guy back out, and the guy that came out was the guy that I started dealing with many, many years ago when I started dealing with this company, right?
Yeah.
And he told me all the mistakes the guy made, and he fixed them all, right? So that guy left that company, and then I started just using him and not the company.
Yeah.
Independently. Well, now I moved to my new house, and I can't find the guy to get him to come up here. So I'm like, screw it. I got to find somebody else. So my neighbor hooked me up with another guy.
Well, and that's the hardest part. When you're going through life, the hardest part is trying to find a really good mechanic.
Really good mechanic, yeah.
Really good, a really good IT person to help you with your IT stuff, because sometimes they know what they're doing, and a lot of times they don't know what they're doing. A real good insurance man that's not going to screw you. And a real good accountant, bookkeeper. I mean, it's all of these things that you got to investigate, and it's a hit or miss. I mean, we had gotten a brand new Samsung front loading washer and dryer. They installed it, and within a month on the panel, it had these errors. So the guy comes out and says, yeah, it's this, I got to replace this, and da 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 da. And my husband kept saying, okay, you know what you're doing, you're good at all. Oh yeah, I'm da 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 da. He puts it and sets it up, and he took the cold water and connected to the hot water, and vice versa. And it was like, and I had a sweater that came out like a doll's sweater because it shrunk. So we call again, and the guy comes out, and separate guy that they paid to come out because we made such a shit deal about it. And the guy came out and said, well, here's your problem. He put your cold water to your hot and vice versa. We're like, you think they know 101 how to do that? I didn't even know that. And it just, I mean, oh my God, that camera. That's it. The camera has to go.
I love that because I just do it on that camera over there.
Just wait when I get into my new house. I'm going to have 3 cameras. I'm going to do.
Oh, I'm adding more. I put that one up yesterday while I was on my call.
Oh my
I actually was moving. I'm trying to find, I'm going to put more in here too. So.
Well, I will be consulting with you on how to lay everything out, because I'm going to have a 55-inch TV in my office that I'm going to be using for podcasts and so on and so forth. So it'll be bigger, and I'll be able to, so I'm going to be laying things out. So I may be consulting with you, because the expert of the podcasts, I mean, that's what you've been teaching your folks to do, right? Is how to set up.
Yeah, I actually am setting up my TV in the living room. I'm getting another computer to put to that. And then I'm going to put a camera on that, and I'm going to put a microphone.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find a way to adapt microphones so I can actually sit in the living room and watch the screen and talk to people.
But I want to get it all dialed in, and I don't know if you noticed, but last time we had our show, my ring light broke. So I got a new ring light that's even bigger. So I don't know if you noticed, but you don't see the ring quite as much as you used to. So I got a big ring light, and I'm going to be, and we're moving in the end of October. So excited. And I know you were talking about your house and how you have to do this and clean up that. This is our very, very, very first brand new house. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's your yin and yang when you're buying a brand new house as opposed to a house that's already been built. Because our old house was built in 61. So it was an old house. And this house, of course, being brand new, and you get to pick the colors and you get to pick, that's the coolest part. Is you get to say, I want the cabinets to look like this, and I want to put this in, and I want to put that in, and this and that. We never had that before. Before it was like, well, I guess we'll redo the kitchen. And then we'll redo this. And then when we get around to it, we'll redo this.
Well, one of the things I'm, with getting this is I totally looked at it and the design of the house and how small the kitchen is I'm basically going to double the size of the kitchen dining area and expand the house out. But then I'm also going to connect the two houses.
Oh, that's right. You've got a little separate house outside, right?
A separate house, which basically there's a breezeway in the back that we really don't, that section between the two houses, we really don't use that.
Oh, those breezeways are nice though sometimes.
But we have a patio off the other side of it.
Oh, all right. Well.
All right. All right. And each house has a separate patio. So it's like, why do that's space that I can connect the two, and I can move the laundry and make a whole utility room between the two houses.
Or what if you rent it out and make some money off of it?
What?
The house that's behind you that has
its own patio. You can't rent it out in this town. It's not allowed.
Oh, you can't?
You can't have two separate residences.
Really?
Yep. That is a city ordinance.
Wow.
But it's a mother-in-law suite, and to get around the city ordinance right now, we're like, yes, this is a game room, and this over here is an office, and this is a study room, but really it's kitchen dining room / bedroom.
Yeah. That was the issue that in our old place that they were talking about putting granny flats in the back and that people couldn't rent them out. Now they're changing things from what I've read in our neighborhood where they're now allowing them to rent them out because there's nothing that anybody can rent in our area that's within reason.
I know.
But
I'm going to combine the whole house because my mom doesn't have a washer and dryer. She comes into the house to use ours. So I'm basically going to turn that room back. I'm going to combine the two and make that breezeway into a mud room, laundry room / utility room. And that way it gives us more space in the house, but it also, it connects the two. It gives us a place to come in from either place. All right. And have dividing. All right. And then the back patio on my side is going to stretch down the side of her house with a outdoor kitchen area. And then the outside on hers is the other side is going to go on the other side of hers is going to be a garage. So, eventually, and then, she'll be able to walk through to the garage that way and have her own private patio. And, then the house, because we're connecting the two, and then the house will separate. So I'm doubling size of the kitchen. Plus I'm taking out the pantry / utility room /
laundry room.
That's in the back of this. All right. Plus I'm taking the laundry room area. So I'm going to build this huge kitchen dining room area, but then I can be able to enhance other areas in the house when I do it.
Yeah. It's always cool when you get into, it maybe even if it's not a brand new house, it's new to you. So it's a new house to you, and how you can look at it and reframe it and see it and say, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And you talked about you're going to have an outdoor kitchen. So when are we going to start with the barbecues in your barbecue?
So one of the things that I've been looking at, because I left my grill with the old house, and I did it for a reason. Number one, I offered it to them, all right, as an upgrade, and they bought it, right? They took it hook, line. They took everything. They wanted everything. They offered me $10,000 more than what I was asking to take everything and keep everything in the house. So,
great, it's yours.
All right, I'm like, yeah, but the amount of money that I would have paid to replace it is going to be about almost $18,000.
Oh,
that's the problem.
Wah wah wah. Wah wah wah.
But the grill that I left there, all right, they don't make that model anymore. I'm getting a new model. The new model, all right, is almost $700 more.
Wow. Yeah.
All
that's
right.
Yeah.
And
that was like the person that we know and love, Tony, when she made her move, that was during COVID and so on and so forth, and supplies were low. And she essentially sold her house with a lot of the furniture in it.
Yeah.
So they didn't have hardly any furniture. They didn't even have a bed. And she said when they went to order, it's like, that's going to be 3 months. So they
Yeah,
slept
that's the
on
problem. There was supply chain.
an airbed for 3 months. So, I mean, we brought the majority of our furniture. We got rid of a lot of stuff, but we'll buy new stuff as the time comes. But at least we'll have a house that has furniture.
Oh no, we started buying furniture because like this house didn't have a lot of furniture. Like we really have more space than we have furniture.
Oh, I can imagine because you came from a condominium.
Yeah, but like this office has a lot more stuff into it because it had everything in my office upstairs, right? Well, eventually we're gonna spread it out throughout the house. But like I've been buying. Well, our theory became we're going to buy like the cheap stuff we can get on Amazon right now.
Yeah,
and then we'll upgrade the whole package eventually. So like I needed a bar to put all my liquor in the living room. So I bought this $250 cabinet on Amazon. Put it together. It's overcrowded. I mean, it looks way overcrowded, right? But with all my bar stuff, but I didn't spend $2,000 on a cabinet that I'm going to get rid of in 9 months.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why.
Another place to buy stuff that's actually not too bad, sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, is Wayfair. Wayfair, when they have sales, they've got some really good sales, and you can get them for almost half off, if not less. And sometimes they're cheaper than what you can get on Amazon. Just depends.
Here's why I if backed on Wayfair. When we rebuilt the condo, I bought stuff from Wayfair that I could have got from Home Depot, and when I got it, it didn't fit. To mail it back was going to cost more money.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
If I would have went to Home Depot and bought it, I could have just taken it back up and said, "Hey, it's the wrong size," and Home Depot would have refunded my money.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends on what you buy.
Yeah.
So. Right? Depends on what you buy, where you're looking at. I mean, but here's the deal. We're going to be having more to share. And we're going to be sharing more. Just, I don't know. This is like this podcast is.
I don't know whether I don't know what.
I just gotta say that I got podcast-itis while you were gone. I got the shakes, and chills, and I was like, I need my fix, man.
You missed me.
I need my fix. I'm just saying. I mean, ask the audience, and you can confirm this. How many times did I send you texts? Are we going to do the podcast this week? Are we going to do the podcast this week, Tim? Are we going to do the podcast this week?
Why didn't you last week? If you'd have reminded me last week, I would have scheduled it.
I figured, you know what? I'll just give him time to move. I won't be the pest. At one point, I was thinking, you know what? Frick it. I'm just going to do my own podcast. I came really close, but I thought, no, I'll wait. I'll be patient.
There are tools out there that you could do it, right?
Of course. That's why. And I thought, I'll just start my own. What will I call it? Maybe the business G-spot? No, that's taken. And yes, we know what the G-spot is.
Can you show us?
We'll get a diagram for later.
Wait a minute. You think we'd get kicked off of Facebook for that?
I'm sure we could. I'm almost positive we could probably get detailed images and pictures.
Wait a minute. I'm betting. I'm betting. Not only will we be kicked off of Facebook, I'm betting there's a lot of networking functions we would no longer be allowed to.
Yes, it would. You're off. You're done. Oh, your audience is calling you.
Yeah, it's somebody in Frisco, Texas, but
no idea. Is that coming up here?
No, I'm going to send it to voicemail because we're still live on the air.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I, ladies and gentlemen, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So
my phone is always. Wait a minute. Up until this move, my phone was always on silent.
Oh.
This is the first time I've gotten a call.
What happened? Now you're.
No, I guess I'm impotent all of a sudden. People call me all of a sudden.
So, like I said, with this podcast, it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
work in progress. But we're not gonna We're not going to do the. We've already decided we're changing things up, and we're not. Bless you. We're not going to do the.
I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to
Because you
change
guys
this
can
up.
read that on your own. And
Yeah,
but,
we're gonna change this up. I just don't know what it's going to be.
yeah. Well, we'll just hey, we can just talk about life in general and business. Done.
Hey, maybe we should bring on people's problems and fix them on the air.
Oh, I don't know. Some of them might not be fixable. That might be for some might be hard. You never know. Sorry, you need real help. We cannot provide.
What
Here's
there
some
was a thing. There was a thing about calling a. Oh, there's the Amazon guy looking for my house as he drove by.
Oops. Wait, I'm over here.
No, he just figured out that it was our house, I think, and he's going to try to back up.
Oh, fun. The Amazon guy has arrived.
Anyway.
That
Oh yeah. So no, the things that I've had to have delivered. All right, it's really entertaining. Is number one, I got to know my U.S. my mail carrier is Tammy. She's a very sweet lady. All right, I love her to death. But some of the Amazon guys have come by and talked to me because they've been at UPS guys because we had a ton of stuff we had to have delivered because we had to replace. But the one thing that I'm waiting on now is from Dish Network. Trying to cancel your Dish
You're
Network.
getting Dish Network?
Huh?
You're getting Dish Network?
Oh, I'm getting rid of Dish Network. I've had Dish Network for 8 years and I canceled it. And oh my God, it took me 45 minutes of telling the guy no.
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure? We have
No.
a special that we can get it for you for 6 months and da-da-da-da. Yeah.
Here's some of the things. All right. And I realize we're over the hour and I don't care, right? Having a fun time. Right? Dish Network. So the first time I called and I said, well, I'm not sure what we're going to do. So I'm going to put it on hold for a month to figure it out. Right. And that's what I said. I'm going to put it on hold for a month. So we call back. I want to say it was Monday or Tuesday this week. I called back and I said, okay, we decided we're just going to cancel it. We're not going to use it. And this guy, the first thing he goes, well, you're on hold and you can do that for up to 2 years. All right. And, so that you don't lose your account and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't care if I lose my account. I said, don't want it. I said, it's, I can just get another account. Yeah. Well, if you get another account, you may have to requalify. You may not qualify for our services if we do a credit check. I'm like, dude, I've got more money in the bank than you made over the past 2 years. I don't care about qualifying. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Well, if you have that much money in the bank, why are you worried about, why don't you just continue your service? Because you obviously can afford it. And I'm like, because I don't want it anymore. I don't want it anymore. You made me not want it.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't want it.
I will go and move forward with your request.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, but with Dish Network, are you utilizing it for your internet or are you utilizing?
No, that was for my TV. I'm paying $200 a month for freaking TV, and I'm not watching it.
Why haven't you cut the cord? We cut the cord like 15 years ago, and have never looked back.
I know that's what we finally did. We were using the apps on. We got Sling. I like Sling for some of the local stuff I got, but I'm buying apps for what I want to watch.
We got Paramount Plus, we got HBO, we got Disney Plus, we've got and all of it is still saving us at least $165 a month compared to what we were paying for cable. And we get to watch what we want to watch instead of no, click, no, click, no, click. No, I'm so tired of that. Yeah. It's awesome.
So that's the other
cable robbers. Woody.
The world's famous Woody Blackman comes back with the comment of the
day. Of course. Damn cable robbers. I'm telling you, they charge way too much. There's such a thing as having too much. When you've got thousands of channels and there's still nothing good on.
I know. That was why we're like, when we hooked the TV up too. I mean, one of the things they sold us with the internet, number one, I got the highest ranking internet I can get, the highest speed internet I can get up here. All right. And they offered this $5 streaming thing, and I thought, well, okay, I'll get that. Well, it's a $5 for a device that my TV already does.
Yeah.
I can't. Wait a minute. I'm having a hard time trying to send it back because they don't want to take it back.
It's just
Anyway,
not.
but I
so
bought
much better.
extenders and stuff like
Much
that. But still, the headache of Dish Network to get rid of it. And the guy's like, well, you know what I mean? Your equipment and you have a DVR onto it. I'm like, my equipment is 8 years old. All right.
Done.
It's dying. Well, we can send you out new equipment. Well, I mean, you would not believe the things this guy's throwing in my face. And I'm like, dude, I almost was going to go, well, DirecTV was offering me a better deal this time. I wanted to do that to just rub it in his face.
Well, here's the deal. When you cut the cord, both Hulu and Netflix and Disney Plus and a couple other ones are getting their own, they're doing their own shows, and they're totally different than the mainstream of what you watch.
Yeah.
Totally different. And some of these things are, I mean, they're way out there and you think, wow, that's a great concept. Or, oh, I never would have thought of. It's so much better and so much more quality entertainment, I believe, than when you're watching cable.
Well, yeah, the one thing we did find was on Apple TV is Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Have you watched that show?
Well, I don't have Apple TV, so no, I haven't watched that one. We haven't signed up for Apple, and Apple has their own that they're doing too. I mean, there's one that I think it's a Hulu or a Netflix original. I'm not sure. It's called The Sandman.
I've heard about that one too.
That one is way out there and it's really cool. We've been watching that. I mean, it's just all this content that you don't think about until you change over. You just don't know what you don't know. We've talked about this before, but you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know what you're missing until you do it. I mean,
it's a whole new world.
Yes.
As Ariel would say,
we cut the cord 15 years ago and we're so happy we did.
Okay, there's 3 times now the actual guy from City Hall has come and parked on that lot across the street from my house. Well, okay. All right. So one of the things I had to do here was I have a tree right outside my door, or right outside my window, that I had to trim back because it was dying, and I took half the dead branches off, and I just put them in a pile in front of my house. I don't care.
Wow.
And I've had several times people come by and look at it. I'm wondering if they're going to eventually, if the city will come by and take it, or if they'll wait till November when the trash company picks them up.
Oh, fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Yeah. So
good times.
And the Amazon guy finally left.
Oh, maybe he gave up.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, and the other thing is when I got the house, is the bushes in the front of this house were covering this window. You could see through the bushes, but on the bushes you couldn't see in.
No.
One day I just got so fed up after doing painting for a few weeks. I went outside with a cutter, all right, and hand snipped them all down.
Cut the hell down, yeah.
All right, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks so good. Now I'm tempted to rip what I have left out. So.
All I know this is when we move into the new house, I'm getting a maid to do the house, and we're getting a gardener to upgrade the very small yard we have, because we did that on purpose, because we had a 10,000 square foot lot, and we're not doing that.
No. I got almost 3/4 of an acre here, and my birthday present was a John Deere tractor.
I saw that. Didn't you see my comment?
And already I've got a line of friends saying, "Hey, can I come over and mow your lawn for you?" I'm not saying who they are, because they're all like, "Hey, shh, don't tell anybody." But secretly, I want to mow your lawn.
No.
Why do you think I got the tractor? All right. And
people were asking us. They're saying, "Is Andrew going to do the yard?" And we're like, "Hell no! That's why we got a small yard. We're going to be sitting drinking tea."
Yeah, the first day, probably about mid-afternoon of getting the tractor. Mid-afternoon. I mean, I read all the stuff on the manual, and mid-afternoon I went out because my lawn was overgrown at that point, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the backyard, and at least I'm going to hack the backyard down. And then I figured it out, and I mowed the front yard on the lower settings so it looked good. All right, and went across the whole front yard. I did the whole yard in like an hour and a half, and like didn't have my cell phone with me. Had my sunglasses on. The biggest mistake I had was my pair of glasses that has the tint into them when the sun hits.
Yeah,
I had them sitting on here like this. All right, because I had the sunglasses on. And I stopped to look at something, and I leaned down, and they fell down right underneath the tire. And as I reached down to grab them, the thing pulled a crunch right over them.
Oh, torture.
So yeah, and because they're not scratched up, my eyeglass. This is my new ones that I got anyway. I'd ordered just before we moved. I went down to pick these up, and I said to my doctor, I said, "Can I?" She says, "Bring them in. I can have them refixed if the lenses aren't scratched." I'm like, I may actually have them because the advantages with those is if I go outside and I have to read something, they sun tint, and I don't have them on for my computer ones because they reflect the lights. That's why. You look at some of our older podcasts; those are the ones I had on that they would reflect, and that's why I don't wear them. But they're in a bag here somewhere. Hold on. I don't even know where I put the bag now.
Well, you know they've got glasses now where they've got the frame. Haven't you seen Demi's glasses?
Yeah.
Where they've got the frame itself, and then the front part is a magnet, so you can change it out, and you can change the color of your frame, whatever color you want, and whatever design you want. And she's got something like 100 and some frames that she changes.
Yeah, I'm not into the frames. I wear the glasses for what I need them for. To see. I can't read Robert Brooker's name without them.
It's pretty bad when you're in the grocery store and you're looking at stuff and you can't read shit, and you got to ask somebody because you forgot your readers. Excuse me, can you read this for me? I can't read shit. I don't know if the text is getting smaller because there's so much shit in the stuff we eat, or if our eyes are getting worse. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of both. I don't know. You in that face. What?
I should just make a picture of that to flash up on the screen.
So this is another podcast session.
So hey, I'm glad you had fun at today's session. All right. Well, I guess we'll do this again.
Yes. This was fun. We'll just keep it going. Keep it going.
Oh yeah. So here's the dilemma is we're realizing that our show is not what we thought it was going to be, but we've had fun doing it, and we realized maybe we need to just find a way to have fun.
Yes, absolutely.
And not get caught up in what we need to do. All right.
I agree.
We're going to say things like, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook page, because it's the only two places this show is going to be available from now on.
Yep.
It will not be available on Apple. It'll be taken down off of Apple. So.
Yep. If you really want to watch it, you can watch it there, or you can.
It's going to be a live video show, no audio.
No, it is. It's going to be what it is.
Yep. Other than that, our plan is to just have fun.
Yep, I agree. Totally agree.
So
agree. I mean, because life's too short, right? And we got between the two of us, we've got a lot of experience that we can talk about stuff.
Because if you want to find the G spot, you got to be having fun to do it.
Very true. Very, very true.
No one finds it out of obligation.
So tune in next time.
Tune in next time.
What we'll be discussing.
Well,
we may have some diagrams. Who knows? We'll see. I'm just saying.
Guys, we're gonna wrap it up for a week. All right, Katrina. Hey, I'll see you next week, girl.
Yeah. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.